Hello, welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, if you're a subscriber, thank you so much. If this is your first time here, thank you. I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you like it. So this is going to be a special video for me. This is actually my first comic book review. I'm going to be talking about the condition of this comic book, and it's just some items that I found. I don't know if they're significant. I don't know if they're minor, if they're major, what sort of the deal is. I'm still learning the process. So I was trying to be as hypercritical as I can to point out anything that might be a point of note when this does get sent off to CGC. That's going to be within the next week or so. I'm going to send this off. We're going to find out how close I was, if anything that I'm pointing out in the video is a point of interest for CGC. But with all that said, let's get into it. This is my Doctor Strange, Master of the Mystic Arts, number 49 from 1981. This is a newsstand issue. I do have one concern looking at the cover. I don't believe that this is perfectly centered. So if you look at the spine here, there is a pretty good size white border. And then if you look at the logo for the Comics Code Authority, and then the lettering in the title, all of this does appear to be shifted. I don't think that it's perfectly centered. I don't know that that's a huge issue. It's just worthy to know. Another thing, this corner down here, it does have a small scuff. I don't know that that's means a whole lot, but it is, again, worthy of note. Now we're going to open up. I want to just sort of give credit to the creditors here, or to the team. So the a production by Roger Stern, Marshall Rogers, Terry Austin, Jim Novak, the letterer, Bob Sharon, colorist, Alan Milgrom, editor, Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. Now, as I'm looking at this, I am not sure, but I can say almost certainly that this isn't as bright as it was the day that it was printed. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say that the coloring on the pages are off-white. I don't know how big of a variance there really needs to be in order for it to be yellowing or off-white. But I know that this is an aged book, so I think it's pretty safe to assume that we're not going to be 100% perfect on this. Now, as we go into the story, one of the first things that I see is this right here. So if you can see it in the lettering, it does appear that the lettering was printed underneath of the graphics. I do think that this was made in error because it's not consistent. It's not the same way on any of the other lettering. So perfectly legible, not a problem to me, but I do think that that was made in error. There's also these green tick marks up the top of all the stories. It's not so much here, but on most of the other pages, there is this green tick. I assume this is part of the printing process. I really don't know what the significance of it is, but if anybody knows, a little bit of insight would be really appreciated. And we're going to continue through this book here. Let's see, what else have we got? All right, everything looks good here. Digging through page 8 and 9. Some more advertisements. One thing I did notice as well, I believe that this is going to just be part of the printing or the manufacturing process. A lot of these pages do have some tears down at the bottom. None of them are significant. They don't appear to be intentional, so I would assume that this is part of the machine process in getting these made up, but I can't say for sure. Now, page 11. So, page 11 is where I start to find a couple more mistakes. Nothing significant again. However, I do see that the lettering for this word is first. If you can see that, there was some excess ink or something that happened here that made the word first just about illegible. I had to just use some context clues to figure out what it was saying. Not a huge deal, but it's there. The other thing is where it is to say page 11 is, again, totally illegible. It's totally blacked out, which is understandable because this is a pretty dark photo already. So in the coloring of all the black, it would be pretty safe to assume that that's probably going to happen as well. Last thing on this page, there is this ink blot. I'm again going to go out and on a limb here and say that it's just part of the process. It would be consistent with the other two mistakes if there was excess ink maybe on the machine, that some more would just rub off down at the bottom of the page, but no way of knowing, at least for me to know. Maybe somebody out there knows. We got Mile High Comics here. It is kind of cool to know that they are really the standard for comic book stores. This is a book from 1981 and they still absolutely look like they are the authority in what you would expect or like to be able to see out of a comic book store. So let's keep going. Everything looks good here. Some more advertisements. This is another one. Nothing huge, but let's see if we can see it. So the word assistance, it looks like there was some particulate matter or something on the printer, and the letter C just got totally stamped out. So I haven't seen or noticed that anywhere else. I'm sure that it's probably maybe a common thing, but just as I was reading through the book, I saw it. I thought that was worthy of note. One thing, this is not a critique, this is a compliment. I actually really like this. This page I think was absolutely beautiful. I think this is a really well illustrated page. If you read through the story, it's Doctor Strange, so he's in the multiverse. He's got a lot of things going on. He's in different dimensions. The paneling and the graphics on this, I think, were just done really well. It looks neat, but it perfectly ties into the story. So while it looks cool, what it really does is it helps illustrate exactly what's going on. And if you're reading through, it kind of leaves out any chance of anyone being confused as to what's going on here. And continuing on, no more problems that I found. That's pretty much it. We did have another advertisement in the back of this, the Hulk versus the Fumigoonies. This is actually just another advertisement. I just thought it was interesting the way that this was formatted. It's the Hulk fighting a couple of bad guys, and the day is kind of saved by some fruit pies. All right, and this is the last page that I really wanted to point out. This is the Strange Mails. This is where people just write in to talk about Doctor Strange or how they like the books or whatever the case is. The lettering here is very inconsistent, though. I don't know if this was done intentionally or why or how this could really happen. Because it's so sporadic, so you can see over here, this is very dark, bold lettering, and then right next to it, it's much more uniform, very
clean lettering. However, again, down at the bottom, as you read through this, you can see maybe the ink is starting to thin out a little bit. This lettering isn't quite as pronounced as it is up here. And then we go up here, and it's very dark and sort of shaded again. I don't know why it would be that way, but again, if anybody could, provide a little bit of insight, it would be greatly appreciated. So those are my points of interest, my notes out of this book, Doctor Strange number 49 from 1981. Again, I'm just guessing here. We're going to find out. But I think as I read through some comic book grading instructions, I think that this is going to be like a near mint book. I'm assuming we're going to be, or guessing we're going to be somewhere around 9.2 or 9.4. This is the next book I'm going to get sent off to get graded. So at that point, we'll be able to really determine what the condition is and if I was right.
Okay, so that was my first book review. I'm really excited about it. I tried to be as subjective or as objective as I possibly could be. I think that I did a pretty good job. I don't know that there's anything that I missed. If anybody noticed anything else that I didn't see, if there is anything that I should be looking for that I didn't talk about, I would really appreciate some input. We will find out how close I was once this gets sent off. The turnaround time on these is kind of inconsistent. So the last one that I sent off, it was gone for almost 4 months, 3 or 4 months. So we're gonna see if it can come back. If we can get hopefully a little bit quicker of a turnaround time. I think that the normal return is about 1 to 2 months. So once it gets sent off, I'm going to do a couple more of these, and I'm going to start trying to get just a consistent flow of books coming through. If anyone has any input, please, I'd love to hear it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, thank you.